Michigan dominated the second half after going into halftime tied 10-10 against Indiana. Michigan outscores the Hoosiers 21-0 in the second half. A lot better play calling all around on offense. Defensive line really had a great day in the second half. Give me your one-word reaction to Michigan's 31-10 win over Indiana. I'll give you mine. I'm going to go sloppy because that first half, folks, that really surprised me, really kind of scared me in a lot of ways that this team maybe wasn't the team that a lot of us thought they were, but I liked what I saw in a lot of ways in the second half. We will dive into our instant reactions all throughout today's show. Let's take a look at the score if you weren't able to kind of keep track or watch and take a look at the stat leaders. J.J. McCarthy had a nice game, 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, all of those coming in the second half. Did have his first interception of the season. Blake Corum, 25 carries, 124 yards, so he's continuing to be used a ton. That's 30 carries, 29 and 25 over the last 3 weeks. He got a touchdown. But how about Ronnie Bell, right? Mr. kind of check down for J.J. McCarthy, although there were a few downfield passes. But Ronnie Bell just streaking across the middle of the field or, doing a little turn back plays for 5, 6, 8, 12 yards here. He got probably his best game, one of his best games as a Michigan football player, but 11 catches, 121 yards. He did not get in the end zone. That was for Luke Schoonmaker and twice for Cornelius Johnson. I think we'll be able to talk tomorrow and into Monday on Blake Corum, kind of getting those 100 yards, getting that touchdown, continuing to be a part of the Heisman Trophy conversation. But his position coach, Mike Hart, we don't know exactly, and maybe I didn't follow in the second half as closely, so if it's been announced, I apologize, but we're filming this the moment the game ended. He went down in the first half. Michigan seemed a little bit rattled, right? The play calling, the players, and he was carted off the field. Heard instantly that it was a seizure. It didn't look like it was a heart attack. He didn't lose consciousness or anything like that. So if he had a seizure, it's likely it won't impact him long-term or anything like that, and certainly won't be a serious issue where he's away from the team for weeks or months on end. Maybe he misses next week. Maybe he takes this week off. We'll see. But type "get better" down in the comments to Mike Hart. We always wish him the best. I know a lot of people in the program watch this show. Let's put out the positive vibes for Michigan's all-time leading rusher and now running backs coach. We are going to get into my instant reactions. We're filming this the moment we start. We press play the moment the clock hits 0. So I haven't had a chance to look at the tape. These are the things I jotted down throughout the game, giving you my instant thoughts. And we'll get into more things on Sunday and Monday coming out of this game. But number one, the honeymoon's over for J.J. McCarthy, right? And I probably put this down a little too early as my number one topic, but I stuck with it because the first half was so confusing, so bad, and a lot of people on Twitter, on Facebook, on social media are saying it's the play calling, it's not JJ. He had a nice second half. His first half stats, I kind of jotted him down earlier in the jotted him down. He was 13 of 18 for 129, no touchdowns, no interceptions. So after half, he really had a hell of a game. 15 of 18 for 175, 3 touchdowns. Did force a pass deep into kind of double coverage, but it got tipped away from Ronnie Bell. Interception on that one. He has his first 304-yard day on his Michigan football career, making his 5th start in Michigan's 6th game of the season. So now he's 5-0 as a starter. He's probably still leading the nation in completion percentage. He had his first 300-yard game and 3 second-half touchdowns in a tie ball game. I was probably leaning towards like a C- or a D after the first half, but I don't know from you guys. Grade J.J. McCarthy's performance today at Indiana, Michigan's 2nd of 4 road games on the season. He gets the victory. Michigan's number 4 in the polls. As I said, I probably was going to go like a C- or D after the first half, but nice second half from him. Had that one mistake, tip ball, but it probably wasn't that great of a pass or decision for him anyways. I am going to go with a B grade today, but the honeymoon, as I said, is over because that first interception and just a lot of confusing play calls and decision makings from McCarthy, the offensive staff, early on in the game. Michigan in general has a bad offensive strategy. They didn't let J.J. McCarthy really go downfield, really start cooking, doing anything of note. It was all crossing patterns and some confusing third down play calls, some confusing, very, very confusing fourth down play calls, especially early on. Michigan went for it. 4th and 2. They ran a J.J. McCarthy sneak. They might have got it. Bad play call on 4th and 2. Anyways, they called timeout, so they kind of iced themselves. Then they come back and they hand it off to Blake Corum on kind of a wide handoff to the left side that got absolutely stuffed. That was 1 or 2 of many confusing play calls from this offense in the first half. Clearly turned things around in the second half. Clearly Michigan dominated, winning 21-0 after halftime. But I think Michigan needs to approach every game, every drive, every play as they need to score points. They need to get the ball downfield because at times it looks a little too much like this offensive play call, this offensive strategy is not meant to score big touchdowns, not meant to put their players in the best positions that they need to win games. So that is the latest. We're going to dive into the stats, talking more about the offensive play calling here in a second. But today and now tomorrow, because Michigan got the win, is our last day of our BetUS jersey giveaway offer. So if you haven't bet any college football games this year, haven't bet them today, want to bet some NFL tomorrow, get going with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. By end of day Sunday, you got to go to chatsports.com/GoBlue. Use the promo code GoBlue when you sign up and make your first deposit. If you do, we're going to give you a free Michigan football Jordan brand jersey. Here are the steps to get there. Go to chatsports.com/GoBlue. Use the promo code GoBlue, no spaces. Sign up and deposit. You got to put in at least $100 or more. We can put up to $200, $300, $400 and get that 125% deposit bonus. Make your first bet, then email us, jersey@chatsports.com. We just need a screenshot of your account number, verify it against the report we get. Boom, I got a stack of them sitting behind me at my desk, these Michigan football Jordan brand jerseys. I got smalls, I got mediums, I got larges, I got XLs. I don't think we have 5XLs or anything like that, so don't request a 5XL. Email jersey@chatsports.com. We'll get your address that you want us to send us to and your size, and we'll get it off to you here in a matter of days. Chatsports.com/GoBlue. Promo code is GoBlue. Get started. Make your first deposit with BetUS. Do it before end of day Sunday. You'll get a Michigan football jersey. Luke Schoonmaker had himself a day for this program. He has really turned into J.J. McCarthy's number one target, right? He didn't lead the team in receptions today, but 9 for 67, got a touchdown, put in some effort, stretched it across the goal line. They reviewed it. They gave him the touchdown. Ronnie Bell, Luke Schoonmaker, Cornelius Johnson, 3 guys that really stepped up and had days, especially in the second half for J.J. McCarthy, Jim Harbaugh, and the co-offensive coordinators. Now, Ronnie Bell with 11 catches. It's disappointing he didn't get in the end zone because you want to reward a day like that for him. But him and Schoonmaker combining for 20 catches. Like what I saw from Cornelius Johnson. He dropped potentially a 96-yard touchdown pass. He had one man to beat in that first drive for Michigan. Michigan was throwing from their own 4-yard line. And, they pulled him out, put Andrew Anthony in. He finished with 2 for 32. I thought Anthony should have a bigger day, but nevertheless, Cornelius Johnson came back, had himself a nice move on a touchdown pass, on that later on that drive, and then later on in the game, he got his second touchdown of the game. So I like when you see that. Guy makes a mistake, guy makes a big play, gets taken out, and the coaches have to talk to him a little bit. Turns it around, makes a touchdown later on that drive, touchdown later on in the game. Hell of a performance for Cornelius Johnson after what at the time could have been a pretty detrimental play to Michigan's offensive philosophy, offensive strategy after he dropped that pass that was dropped right in the breadbasket for him up the right sideline by J.J. McCarthy. Third instant reaction, I should say, is those refs stunk. They really stunk. They were calling. Did you see the one play? Who was on Jalen Harrell? I'm not going to, if you're a little older, you don't know what this means, but when the kids do this, it's kind of talking about they're doing something that they just, they're with a girl and they're doing one of these. I think that's what Jalen Harrell did, kind of calling that guy a PUSS, the rest. I think that was the move. They were saying on TV, well, what did he do? Is that something wrong? I don't know if the refs knew what he was doing or if they thought he was doing a throat slash, but that unsportsmanlike conduct on Jalen Harrell was brutal. There were plays left and right. Michigan got called for 12 men on the field when they weren't even allowed to substitute per the rules when your opponent substitutes players in and out. So you saw the game. There were plays throughout the ball game that Michigan, just even the one that popped in my head here as I'm glancing at my notes is DJ Turner. He clearly interfered with the guy in the one play, didn't in the next play. They didn't call in the first one. They called in the second makeup call. And saw a ton of things on social media, people just saying, look, these refs look lost. They look like they don't know what they're doing. And nevertheless, that is what we got. I thought these refs stunk, and Michigan football and Indiana, everybody in the Big Ten deserves better. You are watching the fastest Michigan football post-game show on Earth and Mars, probably. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/Michigan TV. We will have a video every single day this week heading into a top 10 matchup. Michigan Penn State coming up next week, a week from today, 12 o'clock at the Big House on Fox. Big noon kickoff once again. So make sure you subscribe, youtube.com/Michigan TV. We'll be back on Sunday again for another video. Here is my number 4 instant reaction. Defensive line, they came to play, folks. They really did. early on, Indiana was getting the ball wide, right? They were throwing the ball wide, getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands very quickly, and Michigan's defensive line wasn't able to make an impact. And frankly, for a while, it looked like the Indiana quarterback, he ended up 49 passes. He had only 203 yards, though, but it looked like he was going for a 300, 350-yard day early on. Nevertheless, the defensive line came to play down the stretch. I want to kind of just give some credit, some shout-outs to the guys who had sacks. Mike Barrett, Junior Colson had sacks in the linebacker position. Ayabi Oki, I told you all last week, he should be starting, and I think you saw a lot of the reasons why. Today, Khalil Mullings himself, not a sack for Khalil Mullings. Jalen Harrell had that one sack, and Braden McGregor, Derek Moore, the true freshman out of the Baltimore area, same high school as Ayaki Obi, same high school as Blake Corum, got a sack as well. 7 tackles for the linebackers from Michigan, Barrett and Colson. Mike Barrett ended up having a nice game after things went a little sideways on that first and only Indiana scoring drive where he got caught out of position. We've got one more instant reaction for you, but before we look at it, I want to know your score prediction. Michigan in a top 10 battle next Saturday against Penn State. Who is off today, who is watching this game, probably salivating for a little while in the first half. Predict the score for me. Michigan, Penn State, a matchup of top 10 college football titans next Saturday at noon. Let me know down in the comments. Look, this was a sloppy performance. I told you yesterday's show that this is all the classic dealings of a trap game. Michigan could be looking ahead, a look-ahead game to Penn State next week. Corum wasn't his dominant self, okay? I think Michigan got out to such a fast start on that first drive that maybe that paired with the Mike Hart medical situation kind of just got the offense off their rhythm, off their sync. So after that first drive with Corum, he basically had 75 yards on 24 carries, so really only averaged 3 yards a carry after that, but got that one touchdown in there. I think based on today's performance, folks, and Michigan going into a top 10 matchup next week, Blake Corum is now right with or above the last 2 Heisman Trophy winners. You've seen me make that comparison, Derrick Henry, and prior to that. If he has a game against Penn State this week, and I'm talking 125 to 175 yards, a touchdown or two, a game we've expected to see from him throughout his Michigan career, but more importantly this year, he will vault to the top of the Heisman Trophy ratings after that Penn State matchup. The entire country will be watching Michigan, Penn State next week. If Michigan can have an offensive game plan that continues to showcase Blake Corum, and he puts it on in front of the entire country in a top 10 matchup, I think he becomes your Heisman favorite, or at least co-favorite, maybe with C.J. Stroud or one or two other guys. So I'm excited to see what happens next week. It's a big cat time game week, folks, so make sure you stick with us. Michigan gets the win 31-10. Subscribe to the channel. We'll be back with another video on Sunday. Till then, go Blue.